Okay, today we're going to take some notes on naming acids. I think the first thing we want to talk about is define an acid. Okay, acids, first of all, are compounds, therefore their overall charge has to be 0. Okay, and in Chemistry 1, we're going to recognize an acid as something that starts with H, technically H plus ion. Okay, there are 3 categories of acids. The quick way to think of them: there are acids that come from ides, there are acids that come from ates, and there are acids that come from ites. And we'll talk about that in a second, but basically it's the negative thing, the anion that pairs with the H plus to make the acid, determines how you name it. Okay? So to make sure we take care of our vocabulary, we will refer to this first category, the ides, as you see. These guys all end in ide. The ides are referred to as anoxy-anions. So what the heck does that mean? Okay, well, an means no, oxy refers to oxygen, and anion is a negatively charged particle. So these are negative things that have no O in them. As you can see, we got Cl minus, Se2 minus, N3 minus, and one of the only polyatomic ions that fits into this category, cyanide, is Cn with a charge of -1. Okay, now their charges matter because when they become an acid, the number of H pluses that combine with them to form the acid is determined by their charge. To create an overall charge is 0 in the end. So H has a charge of +1, Cl is -1, they go together perfectly that way. Okay, now selenide needs 2 H's with it to create an overall charge of 0. Nitride needs 3. Cyanide only needs 1. Okay? Now when we name these, the formula that we use, or the pattern, is that if you have no O, you become a hydro blank ic acid. And you fill in the blank with the root of its name. The ide is gone, and now we plug in the rest of its name. So we should recognize this one anyway as hydrochloric acid. Here we have hydroselenic acid. Okay, take the root of the name here, hydronitric acid. Finally, we have hydrocyanic acid. So these ides, the anoxy-anions, the ides become hydro blank ic acids. Okay, our next category, the overarching category, are the oxy-anions, which means they have oxygen in them. Okay, now there's 2 categories, and you can see this on any list of polyatomic ions, like our polyatomic ion sheet we use in class. These polyatomic ions that you see on the board here, they all have oxygen in them. So they're oxy-anions. They're negative things with oxygen in them. Okay, now you should notice that we've got a bunch that end in 8. You can see that on your polyatomic ion sheet. Okay, we have a bunch that end in ite. Okay, so what we need to remember is that all we do is cut the 8 off, or cut the ite off, and change their ending to turn them into acids. Okay, so sulfate has a charge of -2. It requires 2 hydrogens to make it an acid. Okay, and the rule is 8 becomes an ic acid. Okay, so you would know it now. Sulfate and phosphate, their names get tweaked a little bit. It's not just sulfic, it's sulfuric. There's the ic acid. Okay, so what I want you to do is you're going to pause the video, and I want you to build these next 2 acids and name them, and come back and check and see if I get the same thing as you. Okay, so you take one, that's a typo. Okay, you've got nitrate has a charge of -1, so it only needs one hydrogen. Okay, so this is 8 to ic, nitric acid, 8 to ic. Okay, perchlorate. Now this is the root of its name. This per was part of the name of this polyatomic ion. If it has O in it, all we care about is its ending and changing its ending. We don't freak out because of per, or you'll see over here with the ides hypo. We're not going to freak out about that. All you have to do is go 1 H plus with that, and now it's perchloric acid. Okay, so 8 to ic, and now our other category, these ites all become us acids. Okay, so sulfite has a charge of -2. Okay, so it's got to go H2SO3, so that is sulfurous acid. Okay, now here's the one, this category causes us a lot of problems in Chemistry 1 because hypo looks a lot like hydro. Don't make that mistake. Okay, if it ends in ite, all you do is cut off the end and turn it into an us acid. So I'm looking at this, I put one H with it because its charge is -1, it's HClO. Its name is hypochlorous acid. Okay, here you've got HBrO2, so this is just brome us acid. Okay, so 3 categories: hydroblanchic, ic, and us acids. And all you have to remember is no O means hydroic, no O is a hydroblanchic acid. Okay, 8 to ic, ite to us. Not too bad.